How's everyone else doing? Everybody good?
Let us
Have
know
you
in the
guys been
chat,
looking?
guys.
Have you guys been looking in the school platform, seeing some of the success um, from the open houses that some of you had? I know some of you didn't. There was like maybe two or three maybe people that said it was a great retention event, but they didn't get the enrollments that they had hoped for. And it's normal. Sometimes that's normal. And it just depends on how we promoted, what we did, but we'll dive into that stuff. We will answer all the questions you guys have, and we'll talk a little bit more. I see Mr. Jamie Goodell is on. Hello, sir.
Oh,
Hey, Mr. Goodell, if in a few minutes, because I won't, we won't keep you, and I know Mr. Dillard has to run as well, but we're going to make an announcement here shortly, but I just wanted to know if you possibly had some of those stat numbers on the purchasing, just the average compared to, but not yet. We're not going to hit it yet, but in a few minutes.
sure. Yep. After last week's discussion, I went and took a deeper peek at it just to see where it's at. So yeah, I can update you.
Perfect. Well, we still got people joining.
And quite a few people have their open house coming up this weekend as well. Looking forward to seeing those results from you guys.
That is correct, Miss Mary. That is the right attitude, right? You just want to learn. How can we make it better? It says ours is Saturday. I figure even if it's not a great response this time, it will get better each year. And it will, because there is nothing in life that we can do for the first time that we're just great at it the first time we ever try something. So you learn. And by the way, you're also going to learn by participating in the school network and looking at some of the success stories in there and ask them, how did you do? How did you do it? What did you learn? What would you do differently? That's part of this whole networking group. That's powerful. Signed up 6 new students this last week, 4 full-time students, 2 homeschool from last weekend's open house. 6 new students. That's fantastic.
It's awesome.
All right. We ready to get this party started? We still have people coming in, but want to respect everybody's time. Mets, we good?
We are good. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's
are
do it. Share the screen for you guys here. All right. As always, we're on a mission. Help martial arts schools enroll 30,000 students in 30 days. We have been tallying and counting them. So please make sure that you are submitting your enrollment numbers. I'll drop the link here in a second for you. And just make sure you're coming with an open mind. And I have some questions that were submitted in the school platform, but that is really what today's coaching and accountability and Q&A call is all about, is getting your questions answered. So get them ready, get them in the pipeline, and we're going to do that. If you still haven't joined us in the school platform, make sure you register. That is the link. That is where all of the assets and information that you need is inside. We do have the pinned post inside of the school platform for additional coin ordering. So all the links that you need. Love seeing the pictures that you guys are sharing with the coins coming in. And today is the last day, guys, to use the promo code 30K students for the discount. It's going to cut off tonight at 11:59 p.m. So get those orders in so you can take advantage of the super gracious discount that Century has been providing all of us. Your enrollment numbers, I'd love for everybody to submit them. You can do it inside of school, or you can just do it right here with the link. If you're not sure how many that you submitted, shoot me a message on the school platform. I'm able to look that up for you guys. And on next week's call, that's really what we're going to be talking about in terms of how many students were we able to enroll in this initiative. So we need to know your numbers, so make sure you submit that. We touched on this last call, And, we just kind of noticed that there's a lot of questions that are coming in, not just to the school platform. I know Mr. Metzger's getting messages, I'm getting messages. And we asked you guys if, this was something that you wanted us to potentially do again in the future. And it was, everybody said 100% absolutely. So Mr. Metzger, what did we kind of decide in terms of what we're going to be doing for everybody here?
So what we're going to do, because there's been such a positive response here, is sometime in mid-January, and I say that because we'll be coming out of the holidays, so mid to late January, second or third week in January, once everybody's back and in the groove, we will do another 30-day webinar. But what we're going to do it on is we're going to do it on boosting your revenue with retail sales, because it's such a simple thing. It doesn't take effort like recruiting with open houses, but it's one of the most overlooked profit centers in the martial arts industry. People do not know how to generate retail. What they do is they try to make fancy displays, and they do pro shops and all that stuff. We have systems to generate extra retail dollars in your school. And I had asked Mr. Jamie Goodell, who's vice president over at Century Martial Arts, who oversees all of this stuff, just to look at the stats, because we were kind of guessing last week where we were at. But just to give you an idea, I'm also going to address something too. Some of you may only have 10 students. You may only have 15, 20 students. And you may think, man, well, how am I going to generate retail? Here's the reality. If you only have 10 or 15 students, you're not running the business, or you're going to be out of business soon. So if you're running a school with under 100 students, the number one focus and priority is to get you to 100 plus students. We got to get you to 100 plus students. However, even if you have 400 students, if you're generating or basing your success and revenue based on the student count, you're eventually just going to plateau. And we talked a little bit about that last week. You've got to understand how to generate revenue inside the walls of your school, above and beyond your tuition payments or program payments or monthly payments that come in from your students. And you got to do it in a way that is justifiable and fair to the customer, but also a win for your business. So you got to do things with integrity that makes sense. And we have systems to do that. And just to prove that point, Mr. Goodell, I lost you in the mix here. There you are. So we were talking last week, the average school, Century has tens of thousands of martial arts schools that they sell product to, right? But where are we, with the elite, my elite systems, and I'm not pitching my elite, I'm just proving that we will teach you these systems, whether you join elite or not. Come January, we're going to teach you what we do to generate it. But where's the average school as far as per school purchasing compared to the Maya or the CMA affiliates?
Sure. So, and I, last week you had asked that question, and the way you phrased it, it's my fault. I misunderstood it and sent Mr. Dillard numbers. He was quoting the increase from the year before. I almost didn't want to say it because it sounds so absurd, but
I keep generalizations in my head. So Jamie, sure. Yeah,
if a school joins My Elite, they go up 6 times in their retail spending within the first year. You can set it in stone. And it sounds like a sales pitch too. It's just the facts. And then if they go from elite to CMA, it's 24 times the average school. That math has not changed much, other than it's gone up just a little bit over the years. But so if the school spends $1,000, they join elite, they're spending $6,000 the next year. That is the average. If they join CMA, then that number jumps to 24,000 from the 1,000. So it's remarkable what changes.
Somebody's asking,
we're pretty excited.
Somebody's asking, what is the average school typically on spending?
So it's around. I want to be real careful with what I quote in numbers, but you can use those round numbers. Say between 1,000 and 3,000 for the average school. And you got to remember, some people are out, in their garage, and they're spending every dime they have with us. It's maybe not a huge number, but it matters to us because it's 100% of what they can spend. So we're trying to take care of that person to the exact same degree that we can, but it's somewhere in that ballpark, is in that 1 to 3,000 range.
And we have a lot of people that, you know, I mean, admittedly, sometimes give you kind of game the system. They may have a wholesale account. We think they're a school, and then unless you really look in on them, they may have spent, you know, $100
That's
a
right.
year for the last couple of years, something like that. So there's some things that bring that stuff down.
And by the way, somebody's asking, is that per month or per year?
No, for an average school that's a small average school that's not a part of it. Let me rephrase this too. Not a part of any affiliation. They're just off on their own, doing their own thing, like minding their own business, not a part of something larger. That's what they're going to spend in a year. And that's, you're talking, you know, small schools in that regard. There's so many that are, I think they probably don't realize, that are more like that than sitting at 200-300 students.
Right.
There's just a lot more of those.
You know, all of you're sitting at the table right now. You don't understand that the average martial arts school is very, very small, right? You're not part of the entire industry. You're just part of the groups of the professional martial artists. And I don't mean that these people are unprofessional. There's people that this is their part-time hobby. They want to do it in their garage. They want to do it in their backyard. They don't have a brick and mortar. You know, at the end of the day, though, the average elite client, he said it, 6 times more than the average school in the first year, and 24 times that with our CMA affiliates. Now, I'm not pitching you to be a CMA or a MIA. What I'm pitching you on is join the free webinar where we're going to teach you what we do with these schools in the first year when they come on the systems on how to boost and increase your retail dollars. Because you guys, when I say you guys, I'm talking about our industry. Our industry does not know how to, quote, mine the gold in their facilities with integrity, right? And systematically. Meaning, what I mean by integrity is we don't have people come into our school and I say to people, hey, you need to buy this Wavemaster or you can't join. Like that's ridiculous. Like that's nickel and diming, right? But you have to have systems in place. It ties in to your curriculum. It ties in to your special events. Remember last week, if you didn't remember, go back and watch it. I mentioned the 5 profit centers in your school, and you have to be able to integrate all 5 of those. And when you do that, exponentially, you increase revenue. All we're talking about is a 6 to 24 time increase on retail. Well, what do you think our increase is overall on dollars? It's massive because there's a system to it. There's a system. And in our industry, why'd you get into the martial arts? Because you love martial arts. Most of you, if not every single one of you on here, is a martial artist. So you went to school to learn martial arts, but you didn't necessarily go to school to learn business. So you open a martial arts school and you're just teaching great martial arts and you just think everyone's going to come, I'm going to make a great living here. If that's your mission, right? But it doesn't work that way, right? You have to understand business systems. And so that's what we're going to do come January. So I would say, look for it. And it's going to be a free webinar and we're going to teach those systems on how we boost retail. So with that, and Mr. Goodell, I appreciate you pulling those up and getting those numbers there. Mr. Dillard, I know you're going to have to run. Is there anything you need to address or you want to say to the group? There were some questions here about the coins in the chat. You may have responded to that.
The coin to the promo code, I think, but the promo code, I did not realize. I apologize. Sometimes when we set these dates, they mean at 12:01 a.m. So I think that it expired yesterday, but I just messaged everybody. I'm gonna open that back up and make sure it's good to go for the rest of at least today. So if anybody needs to take advantage of it, give me about an hour, and that should be back live again. And then I've been addressing everybody who's been messaging me. I think I've gotten everybody's coins kind of taken care of and everything out to everybody that we owe. But again, if not, please reach out to me on school. It's the easiest way for me to go in and verify exactly what address I sent the original coins to and make sure that I get that all ironed out. And I can put one of our agents with you to make sure you guys get what you need. And then, yes, people are asking me, will the coins be available after October 1st. Yes, they will. So we're going to carry this as an item. It's, you know, not necessarily part of the initiative after, but we have extra stock of them. It looks like, given the pace that we're going to be. So we'll keep those out there. So you guys can continue to give them to your students. I know this is going to trickle in, and we've got, you know, natural disasters, things that have canceled some of these events. So, the point here for us truly is I really just want to get more students involved, and I hope them be your students. So, we'll honor that and keep that item, out there. And, hopefully, you know, we're actually, this was pretty put together. I wouldn't say last minute. We've been thinking about it a lot, but I didn't know what the response would be. And so I appreciate everybody who's been here and who's been a part of it. But I will, we're looking at doing this again next year if it's helpful for everyone. And I know that the information is worthwhile. We'll continue to add on to the information, but I think that also just the coins and the initiative and having you guys having something else to be a part of and to be, I don't know, closing new students with, I think that's the real gold for you guys. And so we'll make sure that we do that again next year, and therefore we've already got these coins. The only other thing I was going to bring up is please, I just we have a goal we want to reach with this. This is not about somebody asked me last week, I know it's all about sales. I'm like, no, this is actually not all about sales like you guys may think. It's more so, yeah, we put forth a goal, and maybe a big, hairy, audacious goal, as Chris said, to have 30,000 students. And I really want to keep track and see what kind of impact that we had, because I do think that, you know, students carry on, and I want to see what this goes into. You know, are these students sticking with us in 6 months, and so on and so forth, and how it's impacting your guys' school. So help us get into the school platform and help track those, so we can have a really big number to show the industry and to show everybody what we did just by kind of banding together and all working on our businesses together. I think that's going to be a lot. So we'll come back and we'll give all that information to you guys too. I know it's a little bit hard to see in there, it's clunky, but the goal here is to show off our results to all of you guys and help you feel like, I mean, we really did move the needle for signing up martial arts this month.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you to Century, of course, to everybody involved, the whole team over there. Let's start fielding some questions here. Well, I see my coin shipments got misdelivered, working with FedEx to find out when it was dropped or where it was delivered. Yeah, unfortunately that happens sometimes.
So just real quick, guys, as a reminder, we do have the Game Changers event coming up here, October 25th and 26th. And once again, Century has stepped up. And if this is your first time going to one of these events, they will cover the ticket cost through a Century credit. I've had a bunch of you reaching out, asking for the link. So we'd love to be able to meet you in person. So I just dropped the link there as well. Wanted to share just some really, you know, great wins that we've been seeing in the school platform. And please go in there, do some humble brags. It's very motivating and inspiring to everybody. We've got Master Bolt's 61 new students, plus 2 more. So I guess he's at 63 now. And this was a really, really great post, because he basically broke down everything that he did in order to hit those numbers. So really appreciative of him sharing that. We had Mr. Collier that's enrolled 36 new students across their 4 locations with their 2-week course graduations. Miss Smith just signed up number 20, and they still even haven't had their open house yet. So their open house is this weekend. So really excited to hear about those results. Mr. McGraw's been in there, you know, and I love just his attitude here. You never know until you try. So he ran a special event. Had over 24 people, 4 families showed up, signed up 3 new students, 3 more than he had before the event. So great job, sir. And then we've seen some of these posts as well. And Mr. Metzger, I'd love to get your feedback here. There's been a couple of people that, you know, said that they tried it and it wasn't much of a success. In this case, only had 1 student who brought a friend. But I love seeing that Mr. Wallace said he was going to try again in February. So any words of encouragement or advice to those that maybe gave this a shot and didn't see the results that they were hoping for?
Well, so I'm gonna be transparent with all of you guys, right? And try to enlighten all of us on, be careful we don't get brainwashed in this industry. And what I mean by that, and I'll say it in 2 ways. First of all, I know some of the people that had success, and that's like records for them. But if I posted up there and I said, I signed up 35 people so far this month, but what if I normally sign up 50? Then 35 isn't really great. But if I just read that caption, all of you are going to be like, what's wrong with me? I can't believe it. On the flip side, if I say I only had one person show up, one student bring a friend to my open house, but you only have 20 students, well, that's not bad, right? But there's layers to this. So I don't know if that's good or bad based because I don't have all the information. However, if you have 150 students and only one student brought a friend, I said this last week, it's not what we do or what we say, it's how we do it and how we say it. That is the biggest difference. So we have a saying in Maya that small details equal big results. And it's the small little details that make the biggest differences. So I would say, well, how long were we promoting it? Did we have prizes displayed? Were we announcing it and pumping it up every single class? Were we calling our leads? I tried to tell everybody that the reason we picked an open house is because it takes a lot of sweat equity, but it should not cost a lot of money, right? People I saw on there saying, I spent a lot of money, on social media marketing this. We don't spend money on promoting an open house necessarily as much compared to what we do normally to market our school for trials. What we do is sweat equity. For those of you who have jobs and yet you can't find the time, you got to come in on a Saturday all day, call your leads, tell them about your big event you're having. We're going to have demos, prizes, giveaways, pump it up to your students, pump it up to the parents on the side, make sure they understand your referral rewards program. So if you have an event that does not live up to your expectations, you got to ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What could I have said differently? How would I do it differently? For example, in this case, in February. And life and is the biggest teacher, right? Experience is the best teacher. You know more than I do on what you may have been able to do better after doing the event, right? So there's two big obstacles when you do an event like this. Number one, you got to get people to the event. And then number two is you got to create an experience to get people to enroll from the event. And sometimes you don't get enough people there. And sometimes you get a lot of people there, but you don't get a lot of enrollments. But you got to break it down and replay it. What could we have done different? What kind of experience? Was it too chaotic? Was it too crazy? Were we not greeting them at the door? We went through all those steps. Every little thing matters. Okay, so that would be my advice to everybody. However, I will tell you that it's okay. It's okay. The example I gave once when I was speaking at a seminar, I may have mentioned this, I don't know, but I'll never forget. My oldest daughter will be turning 16 on October 6th. But I remember when she was 4 or 5, and I remember it was over the holidays because I got her a bike. It was over the holidays. For Christmas, I bought her a bicycle. And then I know that we had an event. We have our Maya Elite event in March. So this was like 3 months later. And I told the story that I was teaching her to ride a bike. And I was holding the seat. Eventually, when the training wheels were off, I'm holding the handlebars in the seat. Then I'm holding the seat. And I'm in Florida. So even in Christmas, it's kind of warm. I'm sweating. And I would eventually let go of the seat. And she would stop. She would put her feet down, or she fell a couple times. Well, more than a couple times, right? But eventually she got it. But here's my point. Not one time did she get up and say, Dad, you bought me a broken bicycle. It doesn't work. It keeps falling over. None of you ever did that. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't any kid ever do that when they got a bike, tried to ride a bike, and they kept falling? Why didn't they ever blame the bike? Well, because they saw that everyone else around them can ride a bike just fine. Depending on your bubble that you're in, when you are in groups like this, for example, right? Or seminars or events, anytime you can be around successful people, you get a different mindset. When you're around everybody and saying, oh my gosh, 61 new students, and Mr. Kevin Kowalczyk, remember he signed up, I don't know what it was, 27 students at his open house, only his open house. And you're around all these people that are doing it. You start to know that it's you. that has to make a change. It's you that's missing something, but you believe it, you know it's possible. And that motivates you to continue to try and get better and better and better, because you know the outcome is predictable. Just like my daughter knew, I'm not going to be falling forever. Pretty soon I'm going to be able to ride a bike. She knew the outcome. We know the outcome too. So it's okay to strike out or, quote, fall off the bike in the beginning. You just got to keep trying and you will get it. Chris, you're muted.
I'm coming back.
Thank you, Chris.
Trying to let everybody in. Okay, so I want to dive in. We got some questions in the queue. Also have some questions from the school platform. So this is from Mr. Picard. Is there a good alternative to an open house? There's no way we can run an effective one by the end of the month. No other businesses want to participate or don't have the availability to participate, and let us know that for the future they need at least 2 months notice. So kind of just dealing with the issue is short notice, and every parent and adult students have weekends booked for the rest of the year. So any alternative to the open house?
Yes. Yes. So keep in mind, and we talked about this, what is the target we're trying to hit? What is the end goal? What is the mission? The mission is, I need to get more students. One of the ways to get more students is by hosting an open house. And that's what we decided to talk about. But for whatever reason, I can't do an open house. Okay, so you take that out as one of the ways. So what else can we do to get new students? Well, you saw in the chat, I can't remember who mentioned it. It's in the chat on this live thing where they said, I had 4 families show up to an event. I held an event last Saturday from a school talk or a course or something, and 3 people enrolled. Well, the thing is do you understand, if you're sitting on leads right now, if you have leads, or if you have a way this week to just get out in front of the community or into whoever your market is, if it's kids, go into a classroom, talk about focus or teach a PE class, or sit outside of a grocery store, I mean, whatever, and market a free success seminar for all the kids in the community this Saturday from 11 to 12, 1 hour from 11 a.m. to 12. We're doing a free success seminar, or we're doing a free focus seminar, or we're doing a free bully buster seminar for all the kids in the community. We're going to have some pizza at the end. And, we're going to do a fun martial arts class and talk about 10 different ways you can have better focus or prevent bullying or whatever the theme is. If you just do that, I think the thing on this was a couple dozen people said they would be there, but only 4 showed up, and he enrolled 3. And that's 3 more students than he had before the event. You can do that, right? Like, at the end of the day, just remember what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to get, there's 2 things. Number 1, if the bodies aren't in your school, you're not trying to sell your community on martial arts. You're not trying to do that. All you're trying to do is get your community to come into your school. Once they're in your school, we're trying to sell them martial arts through showing the values and benefits of what martial arts can do for you, right? So I'm not trying to sell martial arts outside of my school. All I'm doing is, what can I do to get people to come into my facility? Well, I'm not going to get people into my facility by saying, we teach martial arts, come try a martial arts class, because that's such a small percentage of people that think they want martial arts. But if I say we're going to do a bully buster seminar or a focus seminar for all the kids in the community, well, that sliver becomes a little bit bigger. There's more people interested for their kids to come to something like that. Then I see a post just popped up, trunk or treat. We do that all the time too. On a Saturday, we're going to get parent volunteers to park all over, open their trunks, and have kids walk from trunk to trunk and get candy. But we're going to have demos there. We're going to have passes. Here's a bonus one for you. It's so cheap. Don't say it doesn't work. That is the worst thing you can say with what I'm about to tell you, because I'll prove to you it does work. Get what we call kick or treat Halloween passes. So cheap. Get an 11 by 17. Go to your printer. Go to whatever the printers places are. What is it? Kinko's? Kinko's?
FedEx.
Okay, Chris. Thank you, Chris. No, I'm kidding. FedEx, Kinko's. Chris always corrects me. It helps me on this. But telling me you want an 11 by 17 and you want like slightly larger than business card size, right? Where you can fit like 8 or 10 on a sheet. Get it in orange paper so you don't have to pay for color. You get black and white, like color print. I want it in black and white on orange paper, and it says, Happy Halloween, kick or treat, bring this in for a free week of martial arts. We do not advertise a special event, and there's a reason why with these, but watch how simple this is. Let's say you have a school of 50 students, and I'm just picking a number. You have 50 students, and your target audience are children, right? What we do is we will wrap up 30, we get it on cardstock as well. So it's not like it doesn't crumble like thin paper. So cardstock, but we'll get 30 of these, put a rubber band around these kick or treat passes. Now you're going to learn how everything works as a system. I'm going to bring it together for you. And we'll give every single student 30 of these. Well, what does that mean? We tell them, guys, you know about our referral rewards. Now I'm integrating marketing. Put your name on the back of your 30 passes. When people come to your door, give them their candy, but drop one of these passes in there as well. If anyone comes in to get their free month, free 2 weeks, and a uniform or whatever special you want to do, and they enroll, you're going to get your referral reward. But all you got to do is just put one in with the candy. Well, even if you only have 50 students, you just got 1,500 passes out to your market in your community. And when people say, well, we tried that, it doesn't work, I'll say, well, did you get anybody? They said, yeah, we got 2 people, but we got one in November, and we had another one come back in February with the pass. So you got 2 new students from it. Well, how much are 2 new students worth to you compared to what it cost you to just get the printing and put rubber bands around 50 packs of 30, right? 2 new students is, for us, is worth over $5,000, 2 new students. But it's easy. It's easy. And you get one time a year where you're going to get your marketing out to your market if you market to kids, and give your students an opportunity to help you with the push and the initiative. So like, that's another thing that we will do, that we always do every Halloween. But we get out tens of thousands because we have 2,000 students, right? So with our 9 locations, right? So we get out a lot, and we always get students from that. And it's just easy. It's not a lot of work. So.
Awesome. Well, one of the questions was, we didn't do an open house this month. Would Halloween be a good day to do one next month? What maybe would you add for an open house Halloween event? So Mr. Metzger just gave you a bunch of ideas that you can leverage for Halloween. Another question, if I have a women's self-defense class and I have new signups for that, do I count them in my new members count? Absolutely. No matter how you got your enrollments this month, make sure you submit those inside of school. So there were a couple other questions that we had inside of the platform. Do you use a referral prize wheel? And, you know, what do you basically, just kind of coming up with some ideas of what could you use on that referral prize wheel? Thoughts, Mr. Metzger?
Well, the best thing on a referral prize wheel is cash, right? And depending on how many slots you have, you may have a couple $20 spots. You may have a couple $40 spots, a $50 spot, and a $100 spot. Because when people spend that, and then I had mentioned this, and you give them cash right then and there, it's very exciting and motivating to every other student that watches and is cheering them on, trying to get that $100 spot. And remember, if you're running a month, for example, in October, you could do double referral rewards. Anytime, any students you refer in October, we're doubling the referral reward. Well, if you have a prize wheel, you can do one of 2 things. You get 2 spins and you can pick the highest dollar amount, or whatever it lands on, we're going to double it. So you have a chance to win $200. And it's better, you know, not to give a $100 bill, give out 20s, because it's like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Great job. Don't write a check. don't tell them, great job, I'll have it for you next class. You got to do it in front of everybody. And we usually do that. If we had one prize wheel, we rotated around the schools, and we really need to get prize wheels in all the schools. But you want to do it at the very end of class when the next class is getting ready to come in. Say, guys, we're taking 60 seconds. Hold on. Billy referred his friend Timmy to our school, and you guys know, as a way of saying thank you, that we appreciate so much when you refer new members. He gets to spin the referral prize wheel. So let's cheer him on, and let's see if he gets the $100 spot. And then you count the cash out, and all the kids are just watching you do that. That's very powerful. You will get people wanting to refer members to your school. Yeah, by the way, if you're doing a good job, your customers will want to refer people, right? It's like if you ate at a great restaurant, you will tell people about it, but sometimes it's just not in the forefront of their minds. This just puts it in the forefront of their minds to be thinking about who they can tell about your school.
Awesome. And just so you know, Mr. Metzger, Kinko's doesn't even exist anymore. FedEx bought them in 2008.
Well, I'm going to
FYI.
Toys R Us this weekend for my daughter's birthday party as
Nice.
well. Thank you.
This is a great question. Kids come to free bully seminars. Women come to free self-defense seminars. What do the men come to?
Men are lazy, man. Men are lazy. You know what men like? They think they like. First of all, I will tell you this. Most adults like fitness. And if you want to, and by the way, then you have this group of men, right, that they want to be fighters until they start training and they realize, I don't want to be a fighter, right? They think they want to be tough, but everybody likes fitness. And if you want to go after adults in general, remember two things: get people to your building. Then what are you doing to empower them that they want to do it, right? Want to enroll. So I love doing a self-defense or / fitness and team building seminars, because when you do a fitness and team building or a self-defense and team building, you can go after companies, like staff, like groups, and you could do that with the parents in your school to take it to their work and say, hey, the martial arts school my child goes to, or I go to, or whoever goes to, is offering to the parents, and it's first come, first serve. You have to have a call to action. That's the 4 steps of selling. We've talked about that briefly as well in the past. But to the first 5 people, a free fitness and team building event where we could just have it for all of us. Would we be interested in doing that? You know, and so that's how we get adults in, by doing those kind of events. And we get the majority of our adults are the parents that are sitting on the sidelines. That's where the majority of our adults come from, the parents of the students.
Awesome. We had one more question inside of the school platform, and it was about COVID. Haven't really talked about this much recently, but this particular school owner was out the entire week with COVID. You know, how are we, or how is, you know, are your schools, Mr. Metzger, handling if somebody does come and we find out that they had COVID? Is there any correspondence that you're currently sending out if that occurs?
I'm in Florida. I heard about this COVID thing around the country, but in Florida, we didn't recognize COVID. No, today, no. I mean, I don't require testing. If somebody volunteers and says my child has COVID, I'd say keep them home till they feel better. I mean, we don't have correspondence on that anymore.
All right, guys, those were all the questions that were submitted. So if anybody else has any questions, please let us know. I'll hit you up with one, Mr. Metzger, as we're kind of approaching the holidays, right? All the pumpkin spiced lattes. The second you start seeing those at Starbucks and Dunkin', and, you know, Home Depot's has had the Christmas decorations out for weeks now. From a marketing standpoint, we often hear like, oh, we hear this in the summer and we hear this approaching the holidays. Like, it's going to be slow, so I'm just going to stop my marketing. And I have my thoughts about that. But as we approach, you know, the last quarter of the year, what are your thoughts with people that have that mindset of, oh, it's the holidays, nobody's going to be signing up, so I'm just going to stop all of my marketing strategies? What do you say to that person?
That would be the wrong strategy. You like my short answers, Chris, or do you like my long answers?
Give me the long one, sir.
Okay, all right. Listen, 3 times during the year where you got to market heavy, going into summer, coming out of summer, and going into the holidays. Over the holidays, got to market heavy, right? I will tell you, and I see some of our clients on here, and they can vouch, they can put it in the box. December is our biggest revenue month of the year, right? It's our biggest revenue month. Recruiting wise, it is our biggest influx of bodies, November and December, into our schools, because we're not going to get into it here, but we have two things that we look forward to every year as far as on the recruiting side. And it starts happening in late October and November and December. And that is our holiday trial special and our holiday enrollment special. It's a time to clean everything up, but the specials are so strong. We get more people in our building and more trials, and a ton of students that hit in January, new students that we got to be marketing. We got to be pushing on the pedal. It's our big, we probably focus more on the marketing in November and December than probably any other time of the year, except going into summer. So that's what I would tell you.
I received a private message. Can you recap the heavy marketing times? And you've been preaching this for so many years that there are 3 times that you really need to go pedal to the metal. So can you break that down?
Yeah, it's going into the summer, coming out of summer, like into the fall time, and then the holiday season. Now, why is that? It's because those are 3 transitional times where people get out of their routines. And when people get out of their routines, there's a couple things that happen. Number one, if you have students and they've been training with you the whole time, and then summer hits, we see a big drop off or freezing or people not attending as much in the summer. Why? Because they've been in a routine, but now things get changed. So your students get out of routine. They're traveling, they're doing this, they're outside, there's no school, and your students aren't coming as much. But then you also have people that weren't training in martial arts. They were doing stuff, and you have parents that are saying, we want to find things to do for our child for the summer. Well, that's where we get the big influx. We get those people. So even though it's a big influx for us, we got to stay focused on the retention side. And there's a million things that we do to do that. But then when summer ends, all the students that have been training with you through the summertime, right, and spend with you, then they get into their new grade. If you work with kids, right, they get into school. They're a year older. And what happens? They start getting all the flyers for all the sports, basketball, volleyball, this, that. And that's when they're like, Mom, I want to do this. They have a friend. They got the flyer. You're going to sign up for volleyball? You're going to sign up for whatever, right? And then you can lose students there. But there's a huge influx of people that have not been doing martial arts, that were in routines with other things, where they're like, you know what, I want to try martial arts. And that's why we get a huge influx of new people during this time. And then over the holidays, it's real important, because we know that, again, especially with kids, you know, we shut down for 2 solid weeks over the holidays. Our last day is probably the 22nd of December or something. We may not come back till the 5th of January or whatever that is. Well, what happened, and by the way, even if you stay open, you'll notice a lot of your students are gone over the holidays. So you think you're fine and you're staying open, but all the people that are traveling or have family in and they're not training with you, they get out of the routine of martial arts. Then they get their Christmas gifts or whatever gifts, holiday gifts, and they want to be playing with these new gifts, this new stuff. And then it's like, okay, hey, we have karate again, or martial arts, whatever your style is. And so we have systems on how to get them motivated to come back after the holidays. But because we know that it's tough, we do a big marketing push and we get all of the people over the holidays. But we do that through our November and December holiday trial and holiday enrollment specials that we do. Okay.
All right. We had a couple more questions come in. Ideas for Black Friday.
Yeah. So we've been in business since 1991. That's 33 years we've had schools, right? We've done Black Friday stuff, and works, if you've never done anything, you can do something on Black Friday. We do not do anything on Black Friday. We are closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the Thanksgiving week. We do our big holiday event the first Saturday of December. So ideas for Black Friday, stay home and relax with family and enjoy yourself. If you can do something the first Saturday in December, and do a big holiday event, customer appreciation holiday party. It's a good retention tool, and it will be your #1 revenue generating event of all time if you know how to do that. And by the way, it's not that I'm holding back information. It's you guys don't have 6 hours to sit here during seminars. I mean, and I don't either, right? And that's not what this is. But that is the reality of it. So Black Friday, nothing. We do nothing. We've done it in the past, never worked anywhere near what happens the first Saturday of December.
Here's some things to consider as well, guys. Black Friday is the biggest retail push, specifically online, right? I mean, you're probably going to start getting Black Friday and Cyber Monday emails in a couple of weeks now. Like it's funny how it keeps pushing earlier and earlier on in the year. And while you can see success with doing some form of a Black Friday trial special, like a trial offer special, you really have to put a lot of ad spend if you want to win online, because you're competing with the largest retailers in the world that are also advertising. So sometimes people will reach out, Chris, we want to do a Black Friday special. You know, I've got a couple $100, and it's really not going to move the needle because you're competing against companies like Temu. If anybody's ever heard of them, they're averaging around $40 million in Facebook ads every single month. That's just gonna, you know, they'll probably double that for Black Friday. So that's just some of the things you need to consider if you are looking to do like a digital online special during that time. And where I would put more of the efforts is through database reactivation, which we talked about on our second session, and really reaching out to your current lead list with a special offer and leveraging email and text messaging. Your just time and energy will be better spent unless you have a very, very large budget, particularly for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Next question, Mr. Metzger. What are folks using for software these days?
Well, Chris always yelled at me because I still don't own a computer. I use my iPad. That's all I own. But for CRM, look, if you want to professionalize, you definitely need to get with a professional CRM. And I'm not going to promote, you know, we use My Studio. That's what we use, right? A lot of our clients use Spark. There's people that use all different CRMs, but you do your homework. Don't listen. If you go on Facebook and say, what is the best CRM? You guys do know that whatever CRM someone's using, they're going to say that's the best, right? So just find who you gel with, the people behind it, the things that you're looking for in a CRM, and it takes a little homework, and then pick one.
And I just think what's important, guys, it's going to be the one that you actually use. So all of these softwares, they offer some form of a demo. So you can schedule that demo and get to see inside and see what features are really important to you. So another question, and I don't know if we can dive into this any deeper. Please talk about the December Christmas holiday party. We've always had one, and we have kids bring friends. I will tell you that each year Century pushes out their holiday event planner, where they do provide a lot of great free information. The one from last year, I think, is available, but the one coming up for this year isn't going to be out until next month. But Century, if you're on their email list, they do send out their Century holiday event planner. And Mr. Metzger and myself have shot videos that are a part of that course that will walk you through some of that. But anything else you want to add on that, Mr. Metzger?
I can't get into all the details of a holiday event because we just don't have time. And I'm just looking at trying to find some, searching from all the texts. Chris, you get text every year, but the holiday event is a 4-hour event, like an open house, except this is mostly 95% for revenue generation and retention more than recruiting. So we do ours from 10 a.m. to 2, and basically no classes. Classes are canceled. Friday night, we decorate the school to look very festive. We have volunteers. There's ways to do that. We have tables set up on the mats all around. It's organized. You got your apparel section here, your equipment section here, your weapons section here, whatever you're doing. And everything's on sale, from programs to testing fees if you charge, to retail, to merchandise, to private lesson packages, to parent night outs. Everything. It's one day a year where we offer the biggest savings to our customers, but we tell them, even if you're not needing anything, show up, because we have cookies, fresh coffee, donuts, danishes, holiday music is playing, all the staff is there, and it's the biggest revenue event. If I told you this, you probably wouldn't believe it. Do you remember the record, Chris? The record in 4 hours in generated revenue deposited. This particular school had 350 students. This person here for his holiday event, about 350. He has 350 students at his school. His event, he generated over $240,000 in cash deposited into his account in the 4 hours. I see Miss Geely is on here. I can't see everybody, but she's at all the events. When I tell you, I always do this in March, the first event after the holiday sale, and I tell the whole room, we have 450 people in the room, and I'll say, stand up if you did over $10,000 in cash deposited in your account in that event. And basically the entire room standing up. Then I'll say 20,000 or more, 50,000 or more, 80,000 or more, 100,000 or more. If you understand how you do this, the focus here for your holiday event is this: not for you to make money. That is not the focus. The focus is to give your customers that know they want to be with you an opportunity to save money. And that's why we can only do it one time a year, because we'd be out of business if we did this all the time, right? So that is the gist between, and notice how I'm calling it a holiday event, not a holiday sale. I refer to it as a holiday event. It's the biggest event of the year, and it's our way to show appreciation to all of our families, but also we have the biggest savings of the year on anything that you need. And so we generate, Chris, you can chime in. Is this an exaggeration? Millions of dollars in 4 hours on that one day with our clients.
Not an exaggeration at all.
But real quick, before we move on, because I'm hoping to inspire you, Chris, do you remember the first time I walked you through a holiday event?
I do. Yeah, when I became a client back in 2015.
And you did your first one, and you spent hours. You had a winter wonderland in your school. And I said, why did you do all that work? Right?
Yeah. This was, I think I had joined like a couple of weeks before the actual holiday event. So we had kind of our own mindset of, what we were doing, and everything was really retail heavy and focused. And I don't even think we, passed $10,000 in sales. So the following year, once I was with Maya and did the full systems, following year, 30,000, next year, 50,000. I think our top year, we did 70,000 collected in 4 hours. And that is, a very common story that we hear from the elite and CMA clients. Those are not exaggerated numbers. And I shared the link to the Century holiday event. So you guys can actually get access now. They've got a short little video here. We've got Mr. Guido, we've got Miss Susko. In this example, $36,000 made in 4 hours. And this is back in 2017. So I know her numbers are much higher now. 35,000. So if you click get access now, guys, it'll take you to a landing page. It's completely free. You just got to sign up for it. And there's step-by-step tutorials, done for you planning calendars and checklists. And they even provide downloadable event posters, flyers, postcards, and social media graphics. So you can hop into that and learn more about how Century positions the holiday event if you'd like.
There you go. And again, guys, there's just so much, right? But here's the other thing. You got to be very careful that you don't start overwhelming yourself trying to do all this stuff and jump on everything where you're just not really great at any one thing. So just stay focused on the stuff that we really walked you through A to Z, and just you'll start growing, right? But if you're trying to do, I got to do that, and they said do this, and I want to do that and this. Remember, all we're doing right now is we're answering questions, and so I'm answering the questions honestly, but there's details to this, there's systems to this, it takes time to learn this stuff, right? But once you learn it, knowledge is forever. That's what I tell people. It's forever, you know? So we'll, you'll get there, but just stay focused and don't overwhelm yourself or you'll burn yourself out.
All right, let's quick fire these. We've got 3 minutes left. When do you recommend doing this type of promotion? We do it first Saturday of December. Mr. Metzger, thoughts on doing a New Year's Eve party?
Something I never wanted to do with my teams. I've had good friends that do New Year's Eve events and parties, and it's a big moneymaker for them. It's a quote parents' night out type thing. They'll go to like 1 o'clock in the morning, so the parents can go have a good time, and they'll watch the kids. If you want to do something with adults, you can, but they do it with the kids, and yeah, you'll get a pop. You'll get a pop of revenue for sure if you wanted to do something like that for kids on New Year's Eve. I personally, like I said, we shut down for 2 solid weeks. I want my whole staff and team to just go relax and be with family. So good idea. We just don't do it.
And do you take orders or pre-stock the inventory for the holiday event?
I take orders from no one, Chris. You know that. Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe Di. I think you take orders from your wife.
I love the sense of humor in our industry. Look at all the laughs going on. Everyone's just like serious. Do we take? Yes, we do pre-orders. That's in conjunction with our holiday event. So what we do is we don't know what discount we're going to offer on the merchandise until the night before. However, in November, we will have a cutoff date for pre-orders. We have catalogs from Century. We will let everybody go through the catalogs, and we'll tell them if there's anything you want, it's a 50% non-refundable deposit. Come to the holiday event to pick it up. You will pay the balance based on what the discount is at the event. All I can tell you is it will be the biggest discount of the year. Your cutoff date on your pre-orders needs to be when you know you're building in enough time to make sure you get your order in. Depending on where you're at in the country or Canada or wherever you're at, you got to pick your cutoff date to know you'll get it in. And then they will come pick it up at the event and pay the balance. If they do not come to the event, and they do not tell us that they cannot make the event, we tell them when they order. If you pick it up the following week, it will not be ready the week before. If you pick it up the following week or whenever you come back, you will just pay the balance of the regular retail price. But if you tell us we're out of town, I know I can't be there, then we pick it up the following week and we will give you that discounted price that we had on the event if you let us know. So yes, that's the secret. Well, that's not really the secret, but that's a detail. The big secret you might see in the holiday kit, but it's the details. But anyway, my point is that's what we do, and we will have that, in a bag for them, ready to pick up with their name, all done. They just come in, swipe the card, pay the balance, but we want them there to see everything else. If you get people to your event, there is an average on retail only. The average customer for us will spend just over $100 at the event. So if I can get 100 people there, I know we'll get $10,000 extra dollars in retail spending at the event based on data, based on what we've done. But that's not where you make the real money, right? So, but it's definitely important to get people to your event. That's why I say it's not a sale, it's an event. Go ahead. I just took the whole 3 minutes on that question, Chris.
Well, that was the last one, so we're good.
Okay, very good.
All right, guys, great job today. We do have one more session with you guys next week, Tuesday, October 1st, same time, same place, same Zoom link. We'll be going through the initiative, what type of impact we have been making. So please make sure you're on there. Please make sure you are submitting your enrollment numbers. And to those of you that have your open house this weekend, we hope you crush it. Metz, any final words?
I'd love to see some of you guys live, meet you in person. If you can take Century up on that offer, because I know how much we're going to help you. If you can make Game Changers October 25th. And 6, somebody asked about recordings. We do not have those for recordings outside of the event and the people that were there live, the attendees live. And I apologize for that because I know things will get lost in translation. So yes, people have offered us money to have those recordings. We won't take the money on that, even though there's been discussion about that, but not as of right now. So
All right, guys.
thank you all
We'll see
so
you in
much.
1 week.
We'll see everybody next week. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.